Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, join us. Come, friends, come on, come all.
So this is our Facebook Live, our first Facebook Live that we're doing to launch RAWgust. And I'm here with the lovely Anna Webb.
I'm here with the lovely Dylan Watkins.
And we've got the lovely Prudence here as well. So it's all happening. And this is the first time that we've ever done this kind of format. And Laura's here as well.
Hello.
She's been shielding some questions that we've had already come through on Twitter and on
lots
Facebook.
Of questions, yeah.
Lots of questions. So fire away.
Should we wait for a few people to join us? Hello.
Hello.
Join us. Happy RAWgust, everyone.
Happy RAWgust. And you know what RAWgust is all about. So RAWgust is the month that we're trying to introduce everybody to the benefits of raw feeding. And there are many. And it's just like we would eat fresh food. So we're trying to get people to understand that their dog should be eating fresh food as well. Laura.
Great. So for anybody just joining, here with Anna Webb, Canine Nutritionist and Behaviour expert. We've got Prudence that you can probably just see down here having a lovely time.
She's relaxing.
She's
a raw-fed dog and she eats Poppy's picnic. So hopefully she can demonstrate how good a dog can look when they're fed on raw.
Yay!
Yay!
So for the month of RAWgust, we've had absolutely loads of stuff going on, haven't we?
Mm.
And you two were busy all over the BBC radio stations yesterday promoting our research, and you might have seen it on the Victoria Derbyshire show last week as well. So we were looking at the connection people are making between fresh food and their dogs. So we asked people in Britain how many people can see the difference between fresh food and the impact it has on their health, which 81% recognised that fresh was best and helped prevent obesity, but only 51% were recognising that it's best for dogs.
Yes.
And that's quite a big, 30% is a huge difference. Why don't you think people are making the connection?
Good marketing.
Yeah, flashy advertising.
Yeah. The dry food manufacturers for years have done some really good marketing. There's lovely colourful packs in all of the supermarkets and vets. Vets training as well is literally 2, 3, 4 hours of their whole degree, and it's understandable. They've got an awful lot of vets, also a lot of animals to train through. But all of those things are pushing people down the route of feeding dry food.
I also think convenience and our very busy lifestyles at the moment.
Yeah.
People assume that feeding raw is complicated, messy, and all of these things, and that's, there isn't time for it just to open a can or
a bag.
Scoop from a bag is the only way to be efficient, time efficient.
Yeah, we're all trying to be time efficient. Like, it's so easy to stick a hand in a bag, do that, put it in a bowl, water, down on the floor. Whereas really on even raw food, all you have to do is take something out of the freezer, defrost in the fridge, get some food out, put in a bowl, down on the floor. There's a couple more steps, but the benefit to what you get is huge.
Absolutely, you only need a freezer. That's all. That is simply
all you need to get started with freezer.
So, contrary to some bags of food, I know I've gone around to friends of mine who feed dry, and oftentimes, you can smell it. Because it's in the kitchen, whereas if with raw, it's in a freezer, so it's no smell, super convenient, and it's super safe.
It's funny you say about smell as well, because dogs can give off a smell. We all know that, but a raw-fed dog doesn't give off that smell. And like Prudence is a dog that, to be frank with you, normally,
be frank with you, Dylan.
If I stood around a friend's house and there was a couple of Prudences around, there would be a bit of a doggy whiff.
There might be a bit of a doggy whiff.
But raw-fed, there's none.
No. Prudence,
hello.
Do you smell?
No, I don't.
So we've got Jennifer saying hello. Ooh.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Jennifer. So first question coming through then, she's saying, why does feeding raw food make a difference to their poo? I like talking poo at Poppy's picnic.
We love
poo.
Well, in a nutshell, dry food, when you look at the ingredients, contains quite a lot of ingredients like grains, like barley, rice and maize, which are used as bulkers and fillers to up the protein percentage in dry food. Now, where that's going is these foods, because dogs are carnivores, cannot be digested So food that isn't digested, like protein from plants, literally goes right through and comes out the other end. So food that is digested, which is, because dogs are carnivores, is meat. Dogs have a very short digestive tract, and so they're totally biologically and physiologically designed to eat and absorb meat. That's why when you feed your dog on a raw diet, the poop will be small, firm, easy to pick up, and actually less pommy.
Yeah, completely. It's where we live in Wiltshire, we may be a bit lazy on picking up poop because the garden's quite large. We've got small dogs as well, which does help. You know, we've got Poppy and her slipper Katie and Gabby, and they all do a poop. Within a couple of days, the white fur appears, and within a week, it's disintegrated into the ground. So the changes are massive because we're all used to those big old piles of poop in the parks and on the streets, and I'm sure we've all stood in them a few times over our time. And the worst thing is as well when you bring it into the house. So with raw, that is pretty much eliminated. So you can tell you can always tell how healthy a dog is from the poop, just like you can tell how healthy we are from our poop too.
Well, they're absorbing all of the goodness, aren't they? And in a sense, you can tell exactly from the poo what goes in must come out the other end.
Yes.
But we had a question on Twitter, didn't we? Thank you for sending in your questions. Do get commenting below. Let us know you're watching, where you're watching, and if you've got any questions for Dylan and Anna. But somebody was asking, like, a question they get in their walking group a lot is, can you mix kibble with raw? Is that safe to do? Does that affect pH levels? What would you say to someone feeding kibble that wanted to try?
I think it depends. If somebody is switching completely from a kibble diet over to raw, ideally to do it gradually. Dogs like to do things gradually, whether it's on a training behaviour level, but certainly on a food level, I think, to do it in a few steps. So from that aspect, you would be mixing some kibble with raw, but gradually taking the kibble totally away so that your bowl is just raw. In terms of on an ongoing basis, mixing kibble with raw, personally, I would say no, there is no beneficial reason to do that. In fact, you would be simply adding some ingredients to your dog's diet that aren't species appropriate. By that I mean they're ingredients that dogs can't digest and they can't absorb. They're not bioavailable for your dog. So those ingredients are, as we've just said, the barley, the rice, the maize, the beet pulp maybe, depending on...
Yeah, beet pulp, by the way.
Yes.
Beet pulp is nothing to do with beetroot.
I like saying that. It is so true.
It's sugar.
It's sugar beet. So you have to ask yourself, what on earth is sugar, pure sugar, doing in a dog's dog bowl?
The sugar is the cheapest filler on this planet. It's cheaper than flour, it's cheaper than grains. Sugar is... It should not be in dog food. It should not be one of the main ingredients in dog food. And mixing as well, I used to be on a soapbox and I used to say, you cannot mix food. You just cannot mix the dry and the raw. Look, we mix foods ourselves personally. So if you are going to do it, okay, you'll have your reasons. But of course, I'm going to promote, and also Anna, is that going to a completely raw diet is the best way. But it's all within your means to do whatever you need to do. But
yes, I was just going to say, some people, I'm often asked this actually, which is that surely biscuit helps clean the dog's teeth.
Yeah.
So now, very interestingly, what I like to say is, you know, when you eat a cream cracker without any butter on and it kind of gets stuck in your teeth, we're lucky because we've got fingers, although it isn't
nails
and thumbs, but it isn't very polite if you're in a restaurant to go poking around in your mouth to get these bits of biscuit out. But we can use our tongues, you know, sideways, side to side. The thing is, dogs neither have fingers and their tongues can only go up and down. So if they've got some biscuits stuck in their mouth, they can't actually get it out. Of course, brushing your teeth can help. But as we always like to say, if you give your dog a bone, that will naturally clean their dog's teeth. But of course, if you're not feeding them any biscuit ingredients in the first place, then you won't get any biscuits stuck between the teeth.
No, for sure. My girls love, that's the dogs now, not the ladies that work for me, love a lamb rib to clean their teeth.
Lamb rib.
Well, just kind of as a follow-up question to that, Becca's messaged in. Hello, Becca. And she's saying, can you feed a raw diet and cooked meat at the same time? Because her pup likes cooked chicken as a treat. How do you feel about treats and mixing cooked?
For me, treats should be considered in the same way as raw. You know, it's a shame if you go to all the great trouble to feed your dog raw, and then you're feeding processed treats through the day, or you're doing your dog training with processed treats. It's going to negate the benefits of the raw. So I would say for stuffing Kongs, interactive toys while you're going out, to keep your dog busy while you're watching TV or you're at the computer, certainly to cook some chicken and stuff. I love Kongs. They're absolutely fabulous for occupying your dog when you need to be busy doing something else. And a bit of cooked chicken. Yeah, fantastic.
Great. And so Pauline's watching as well. Hello, Pauline. Make sure you ask any questions in the comments. We will be answering your questions live. We've got Chief Woof, Dylan, and Canine Nutritionist and Behaviour expert Anna Webb.
Hello.
So Pauline is watching with her little Jack Russell, who's 11 years old, and she's saying, is he too old to switch up his diet at this age?
No, gosh, absolutely not.
Never too old.
And in fact, when I started Poppy's Picnic many moons ago, it feels now, we're going to be celebrating our 3rd birthday in October, I had a lovely lady that lives near me, and her dog at that time was 12 and a half, and he wasn't quite making it outside. He was incontinent, and he was suffering from poops inside the house. So she changed over to raw, purely because she thought that it would help with the poop. And she was absolutely right, it did, because yes, okay, he still didn't always make it outside, but those poos were easily to be picked up. And she also said, which I'm very, very warms to my heart, that he probably stayed on this earth a lot longer because of the type of food that she was then feeding him. So you're never too late to change. Just like us, we're never too late to change ours as well.
And how easy is it to feed raw? Because I think there's a misconception, isn't there, that it takes a lot of extra hard work and effort. What's kind of your routines for feeding raw?
Well, for me, I will get 2 Poppy's Picnics out at a time from my deep freeze, pop them in my fridge so that they thaw at a constant temperature. The important thing to bear in mind, particularly in summer months, is that when you're thawing out the meat, it shouldn't go, the temperature around the meat shouldn't go above 4 degrees centigrade.
Correct.
That's just something to bear in mind. But to be honest, it's so easy to do. So you just pop it in overnight in the fridge. By the morning, it's thawed.
Yes.
So then literally, I love feeding raw, to be honest, so much, because you get a 500 gram pack. That's what I work with. Now I have my little dog, Mr. Binks, at home that eats about 120 grams a day of raw. So Prudence, weighing 15, a little bit, got to go down to 15 actually, kilos. She eats about 350 to 400 grams a day, depending on how much exercise she's done on a day. So that equals about a 500 gram pack per day. So it's very easy to portion control for me. And if you work on that principle that your dog, whatever he weighs, say 10 kilos, you will be looking to feed your dog 300 grams of raw food a day.
Yeah, and we've got a handy calculator on our website to work out how much to feed both if an adult and a puppy. And if you go through our subscription side, which at the moment through RAWgust you can save 25%, it will work out as well if your dog is overweight or whatnot, and it will work out the amounts that you should be feeding too. And of course, if you are still confused on how much to feed, because it can be a change to, well, it is a change from feeding dry food and raw food. What you can also do is call or email our VIP team. That's very important pause. And you can email them on Poppy's Picnic or give us a call on the number on the website.
Fab. And we've also got a downloadable RAWgust guide that's free as well. All that knowledge for free, so do get
that RAWgust guide has been a love and a passion, and we're always updating and adding to it. So do download. And if you downloaded it a while ago, download it again.
So we had another question on Twitter from James in Bristol, and he was saying he's always been interested in raw. He's always wanted to give it a go, but he's vegan and somewhat put off. I mean, how much handling is there? And you're vegetarian, aren't you, Anna?
I'm vegetarian, absolutely. But I wouldn't dream of making my dogs either vegan or vegetarian for the reasons I mentioned earlier, that dogs are unable to absorb protein from plants. You know, lentils and beans are fantastic for us. In fact,
Yeah,
what
great.
do you think of lentils, Dylan? I love them. I love a lentil. But dogs...
And a chickpea. I love hummus.
Yeah, but for dogs, they can't get any nutritional value from them, so it's kind of pointless feeding them to dogs. So yes, with raw, it could be simpler. You know, I don't mind putting my hand in the meat, but you could use a kitchen utensil. Literally, your portion control. There's about 60 grams for Mr. Binks. Plop into his bowl. Here's about 150 grams for Prudence. Plop in the bowl. Served.
And if you've got a smaller dog, our meatballs is perfect. So everything from a Chihuahua up to about an 8-9 kilo Schnauzer or Terrier, meatballs are great because literally you've got a 30-gram ball of goodness, and you are just taking out as many as you need of those to defrost, and they defrost quicker as well than our mince too. Plus as well, if you are just wanting to add some freshness to the bowl and you don't want to do the whole switch to raw, meatballs are brilliant as well because you can just take a couple of tablespoons, 2 tablespoons out of the dry food that you have in your usual food, and then drop a meatball in, and you can do that for their breakfast and their dinner, or tea, depending on what part of the country you live.
I must say the meatballs are great. You know, I grew up on Swedish meatballs because my mum was Swedish, so I'm very fond of the meatball connection.
And I've been growing up a lot on IKEA meatballs, about the amount of time that I've been
those are the
Everyone's
Swedish
always
meatballs that
Yeah.
used to eat a lot, yes.
So we must say hello to Paul. Hello, Paul. Thank you for tuning in.
Hello, Paul.
If you are watching, let us know you're out there. Do post your questions below while we've got a chance to speak with Anna and Dylan. But Paul, bless him, he's given Prudence a shout out, and he said that he's had the joy of seeing how healthy your dogs Prudence and Mr. Binks are on raw.
Oh, thanks, Paul.
He's a non-dog owner, but a devout dog and cat lover, and he's interested, Dylan, on whether Poppy's Picnic is developing cat food.
We are. It's been a love and a passion to get this right. So we are tweaking and changing recipes and testing all the time. And we watch this space is all I can say. It is coming.
It is coming.
Yes, it's coming.
I own a cat who's called Gremlin, and he's eaten raw all the 8 years that he's lived with us. He moved in as a tiny kitten. He chose us, which I always feel so flattered. But apparently, this is something cats do. They choose their own.
Lovely.
Yeah, and he thrives on raw. His teeth are amazing, and I think it'd be great to launch cat food.
Louise, my business partner, the lovely Lou, who and we'll get on camera one day when she's ready. But she's just got two cats now, and those two little pussy cats are testing our recipes as well.
Yeah, we have plenty of crazy cat ladies and dog lovers in the office. We don't discriminate.
Why is it crazy cat ladies and lovely dog lovers?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that?
Crazy cat ladies. Because once you have one cat, you can't stop. You've got to get another one.
Yeah, but cat. Anyway, but go on.
So before we went live, we had a question in from Twitter, and it was from Samantha, who sadly her boxer dog Ziggy passed away last year. Oh, Prudence is going on an adventure.
Yes, let's knock over any equipment.
Yeah, this is where the camera might go.
Yes, suddenly we're not live anymore. Why don't we sit up here? There we go.
So never work with dogs or children, but you know, here we are.
There we go.
Or Dylan.
Yes, so we mind the lovely ornament there.
Do you mind the lovely ornament?
Yes, we have to mind the lovely ornament.
I can see Michael probably somewhere in Yorkshire.
Yeah, full in a china shop and all that. But she is enjoying this. She's had such a nice journey down on the underground. It's all a dog training experience, and I do love to integrate my dogs with my daily routine.
Oh,
So
yes, Samantha, whose boxer dog Ziggy sadly passed away last year. He had lots of skin problems and itching, and he was told that raw food could make a difference to him. Unfortunately, he became very ill, and when she went to the vet kind of said that she should steer clear of the raw, so she didn't really get a chance to try it, but she's really interested to know, could it have helped him with those kind of issues?
that's a really good question.
It really is.
Yeah.
You go.
Okay. Vets get, like I said before, only have a few hours of training on dog nutrition. And it is sponsored by the big guys. It's sponsored by the Mars and the Nestle's of this world, who are Pedigree and Purina. So they pay for these nutritional modules in vet school. And it's great that they get some education, but they don't get the education of what the dog should be really eating. It would be kind of like Kellogg's coming into a school and just saying that you should be eating cereal all the time. It's not the right thing. They should be eating a fresh diet, and raw foods such as Poppy's Picnic is great for that. And I'm finding more and more, thankfully from emails and meeting ups and also from customers, that vets are educating themselves about raw diets. And they are noticing as well the benefits that that's giving to the dog and ultimately the owner. What's more as well, you can find that when you're feeding a raw diet, that the itching will drastically reduce. And if your dog is on any medications or injections or steroids or whatnot, that disappears too. So it's a great plus.
It really is. I mean, you're nourishing as nature intended.
Good point.
And you're nourishing at a cellular level. And we're all made up of trillions of cells. That's all that we are. And our skin, be it on us or on our dogs, is our largest organ. So when you think, our skin is just tons and tons of cells. So if you're nourishing through what you eat, you will actually have better skin. It's like Hippocrates said in 600 BC, so hardly new. But he said, let medicine be thy food and food be thy medicine. So you can actually, in a way, self-medicate by eating the right ingredients.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd say let your dog be the case study as well.
Yes.
I mean, once they're a shining example of, a raw-fed diet, the vet's not going to tell you to change it if it's working, are they?
That's what I find a lot. You'll get customers calling in going, I've just gone to the vet. The vet just going, such a healthy dog. Oh, they've got such great coat, such great skin. And they're going, what's going on? I'm feeding raw food. Oh, no, you can't do that. But the proof is in the pudding/dog.
Yeah.
The proof is there. Your dog is healthy.
Exactly. I mean, we could show Prudence's teeth, just if we can, maybe we're a bit too far away. Oh, she's actually quite relaxed now. But I've not brushed Prudence's teeth in the 4 years she's been alive, because I've relied on her raw food diet every day to be the teeth cleaning agent, which of course, because earlier on we were talking about how biscuit can encourage periodontal disease by getting stuck in the grooves in the teeth in dogs. Whereas, of course, by eating raw meat, it's not going to get stuck in the teeth because of its slippery texture. And the dog's teeth, being predisposed to eating meat, they know how to deal with it. So it just gets chomped in, cleans around the teeth, and then it gets swallowed, obviously.
And the one thing I utterly, with a passion, I don't like, is these things called like dentist sticks that you use to clean the teeth. If you look at the ingredients that are in them, basically it's cereals that turn to sugar. So you're using something with sugar to clean the dog's teeth. And then I'll get the messages and going, yeah, but my dog's like that. And I completely understand that your dog doesn't. I love chocolate. I actually, dare I say, even love McDonald's. But I know. But I don't use those kind of things, of course, to clean my teeth. I use a toothbrush. But these dentist sticks and whatever aren't great. And also what they do then to the dog's poop as well. It's really, if you're going to go down and want to be as healthy as you can for your dog, do give them a little lamb rib or a chicken thigh or something, and you'll watch the plaque fly off. The first time I ever did it for Poppy, I have to be frank, I was horrified. I thought I was breaking her teeth, because I gave her a chicken thigh, raw chicken thigh, by the way, not cooked. You can never give cooked chicken bones.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can splinter and cause problems in the tummy. But I was holding it, and these bits were coming off, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm breaking their teeth. But what actually I found out what it was flakes of plaque.
Gosh.
They were just
flying
off. Yeah.
Well, while we're on the subject of teeth, we've actually had a question in from Hannah. So hello, Hannah.
Hello, Hannah.
She says that both her dogs are fed a raw food diet, but one of them, who's only 4, has 1 yellow tooth. That's quite specific. But she's saying, do you have any ideas of...
I wonder which tooth it is.
I wonder what tooth it is.
Yeah.
But also, think of humans. You can look at a human, a friend, and they can smile, and they might have a discoloured tooth. discoloured teeth happen, and you can have one that sticks out, but it's
well, it's the part of the character. Prudence has got 2 little teeth on her lower run that are set back a little bit, you know. So if she were a human, you know, I might put her teeth in a brace, but because she's a dog, I certainly wouldn't even consider that. It may have been that, you know, he knocked it, and it's got slightly discoloured. That could have happened running and playing with another dog, because, you know, particularly when they're young, when they're doing their running, they love to do their mouthing, and providing your dog's well socialised and you're introducing your dog to other dogs gradually and getting the right match for them to play with, then it's actually harmless, and it's how they're communicating. Come on, no, I want you to chase me more. Come on, no, back off a bit. They're doing all of that game, you know. And there's a lot of teeth that gets kind of flashed in that play ritual. Now, maybe it just got knocked. That can discolour a tooth. I only know because I've done it myself. Yeah.
Well, absolutely loving the
We're not
questions.
play fighting in the park with another dog, no, but
I don't know.
Absolutely loving the questions coming in. Thank you so much to everyone that's interacting with us. Just wanted to say hello to Diraj as well, who has said, how quickly can you see a difference in your dog after feeding raw?
Wow.
Good question. Every dog's an individual. So some dogs may respond really, you know, within a week or so. In terms of the stools, that will be pretty imminent.
Instant.
Yeah, actually.
Within 2-3 stools, you're going to notice.
Yes, a difference that will just accumulate, and they'll get firmer and firmer. And I would say really a month, and you'll be noticing that the coat might look thicker, have an extra real luster to it, rather than being lackluster and dull. There'll be more radiance in the actual hair that's hard to describe. Prue's wearing a cooling vest at the minute because she does get quite hot. But you can see here, you know, her white is really, you can see her white here, that's really white. And this again is what raw does. So it just promotes the natural colour of your dog to be really, really bold. And I love that. So often the white bits on dogs do get a little bit tan or a bit stained, but you know, her feet also, which are prone, particularly in bull terriers, to get very yeasty between the toes. Again, this is something that feeding raw can actually eliminate. Yes, again, because of the no grains in the food. Yeah. Because yeast is promoted by grains, so the barley and the rice that you find in many processed bags of food. Without those ingredients going into the tum-tum, you'll find that toes don't go red and itchy, and there's none of this gnawing of the feet. Similarly with the ears, they don't get as gunky, filled with yeasty gunk that can be a bit irritating for dogs and mean they're shaking their head a lot. All in all, feeding raw as nature intended, certainly it's something I would never not do.
And I think you can see Prudence is a shining example of a calmer, happier dog.
She is
absolutely relaxed.
She is relaxed. So she gets very overexcited when she goes to new places because she's naturally enthusiastic and full of the joy of life, which really no one can grumble about. I wish I was still had her energy.
I went on a bit of a daydream there. I was thinking about the time when I had Poppy, because she had all of these things. She had a doggy smell. She had a funky smell around her paws as well. And I just went back to the day when I started feeding her raw food. And it was a huge change for her because we'd had the big poops. And I remember when I did the change that within the second poop, she was starting to expel. Her body was starting to detox. So there was a bit of a... I'm talking about poo again. But,
we loved it.
But there was a bit of a...
not quite lunchtime.
Oh no, but there was a bit of a sliminess, and also, which did freak me out a little bit, there was a little bit of greenness as well, and it was the whole body just detoxing and coming out with all of the stuff that I'd fed her over those years. So it's big changes.
Oh. Well, Leah has messaged in as well and said, can puppies also eat raw food?
Yeah, so we've got puppy weaning. So if your puppy is between just born, 3 weeks and 8 weeks, we have puppy weaning paste and our follow-on paste. And then you can move straight over to our minces or our meatballs, depending on how big your pack is. And then you can say, when you say goodbye, which is one of the most upsetting things I think any pet owner can ever flipping well do, is say goodbye to your puppies. You can also then get the new owners to be using for us, Poppy's Picnic as well.
And we do have a breeders program, so absolutely any passionate breeders watching, do contact us and let us know. We'd love to sort something out.
Gosh, I'm remembering now when Poppy, because Poppy had 6 puppies and they were born in the corner of
She did.
Wow.
There we had her whelp box. So she had 6 pups, and Jeffrey was the first puppy to leave. And I remember the day when we were saying goodbye to Jeffrey, and Michael was absolutely in tears, and I was holding it together until I opened the front door, and I noticed this huge tear just literally hit the floor, and you know when it splashes, and I was like going, I think you need to go, and that brings back lots of memories.
But you know, and a puppy fed on raw through its life, you're giving it a very good start. And I think as a dog owner, you know, that's what you most want to do. You want to give your dogs the best start. You want to give your dogs the best education and go to the best puppy classes and just have peace of mind. So it's just a simple way of doing just that.
Yes.
It's just like children, isn't it? About focusing on development and what's best for them at that young age. And the same is exactly true for dogs.
For sure. And that's a good point. We learn all the time about, you know, children and what they need and their needs for feeding, food, nutrition, entertainment, games for their mental learning, and it's the same for dogs. It's a learning side of just educating ourselves on what they should be feeding too.
Absolutely.
Oh, this vest does really work.
It does really work, actually. It's just a simple process of evaporation.
Yeah.
Again, I do love to keep things simple, and in a way, this cooling vest represents just that. So it's taken the heat from being on the underground with Prue out of her body, because as the t-shirt dries from the heat of her body, it evaporates, and so her body under here now is really cool. So the t-shirt's just been working away while we've been chatting to you guys, and they're great if you're going to an event or taking your dog on the underground. So what I was doing when I was on the underground was just tipping little bits of water onto her t-shirt, and it made sure she didn't overheat.
We've had lots of fab questions coming in. We're just going to answer a few more. So make sure that if you've got any questions, whilst we've got Canine Nutritionist and Behaviour Expert Anna Webb and Chief Woof of Poppy's Picnic Dylan with us, make sure you get your questions in. We've had a fab one from Ella in Newcastle. She says she completely understands about the benefits of raw feeding, and it all sounds wonderful. But surely that comes at a price. What would you say to that?
Dylan, go on.
Yeah, raw feeding is not as expensive as people think. Yes, you are feeding great ingredients. You're feeding meats that we would eat. There's offal like lamb and kidney, and there's a bone and also vegetables too. But it's not expensive. If you go onto our website, poppiespicnic.co.uk, and type in the weight of your dog, it will give you an idea as well how much it will cost if you're going to use mince or meatballs. But to give an idea, for kilo to kilo, Poppy's Picnic is the same price as a mid-priced dry food as well. And also you feed less, you don't feed as much because our food is nutrient rich. So you are feeding less food, and less of it is then being pooped out as well. You're not wasting much, you're not paying for poo, basically.
Paying for poo.
I've never heard that expression before. That's really funny. You're definitely not.
Paying for poo.
So actually, and I always say, it's a false economy to scrimp on your dog's food, not least because if you keep your dog well, naturally, you'll be preventing trips to the vet, which we all know can mount up to be some quite pricey bills. So if you eliminate the need to go to your vet on a regular basis by feeding as nature intended, you are saving money. So it's a false economy to scrimp on your food.
Yes, agreed.
Great. So if we go to another question from Instagram, Molly's asking you, Anna, what you like to use as treats. Can dogs have fruit?
Yes, absolutely they can have fruit. I'll often use some chopped up apple, some chopped up carrot. These have a low calorific content compared to obviously some biscuit alternative treats or heavily processed treats. These work very well as well to stuff in interactive toys. If you're going out for a few hours, I particularly like using a banana actually with a Kong. Bananas are rich in potassium and phosphorus, and they've got a good moisture content, and they're actually quite a calming food. So of course you can give a little bit of fruit and veg.
Yeah, and my ladies like everything from tomatoes to a bit of celery, even like a bit of fennel.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Poppy is something that is a bit of a she's kind of like a how would you say, a food connoisseur when it comes to all of these things, and she will literally just sit at our feet and just want me to drop something on the floor.
The other thing in hot weather that is quite a nice a tip is to use berries like blackberries or blueberries, and you can mush them up with a fork, then spoon in a couple of tablespoons of really nice organic goat's milk yogurt, for example, and then spoon these into little freezer, into ice cube trays.
That's great.
Pop into the freezer, get them out as you need them, pop them into a bowl, and they're nice little ice cream sorbet, fruit sorbets.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
DIY healthy treats.
Yeah, there's lots of tips. So maybe we should do another Facebook Live about groovy tips.
So hello to Tracy.
Hey Tracy.
She sent in a fab question. It sounds like we're obsessed with poo at the moment, but
Oh.
honestly, raw food makes such a difference. You would be as well. Tracy is asking, her dog eats her own poo.
Right.
She's been advised that this will stop if she switches to a raw diet. Would you say that's true?
Well, it's weird in the sense it's not weird. When a dog eats a kibble diet, it's kind of like nearly the same stuff goes in as the same stuff goes out. That's one thing to think about, because there's not much that's changed. And of course, there can be as well health issues why a dog is eating food.
Yes, there can be a nutritional imbalance, so they're looking for minerals and vitamins and even protein, you see, that they're lacking. So dogs fed on a dry diet, maybe a little bit more, on the eating poo side of the fence. But Prudence, for example, loves rolling and eating in fox poo and other dog poo that she finds in the park. Now that's also a different reason. That's more of an instinctual thing, because instinct's saying, gosh, there's a fox about, so I must smell like a fox, so the fox doesn't think that I'm a threat to the fox and I'm not going to get attacked. So there's different reasons for this. Another top tip is to actually add a tiny bit of fresh pineapple into even a raw diet. So if they have been a poop eater, it's the pineapple in there that can actually create, make it not so tasty for them. I know, so do I.
So recapping slightly, I know obviously we've constantly got people joining us. Paul is asking, if a dog is used to a mainly processed diet, does there have to be a gradual switch, or can you just overnight change?
Well, we kind of answered that earlier on doing gradual, and I was saying gradual. I have to say, with Poppy, I did an instant switch. She had her dry food one day and it was raw the next. We're all different, and dogs are the same. So you know your dog, you know what's going to work better. And of course, if you make an error, a mistake, it's only on 1 meal, 2 meal. It's not going to harm your dog. If you find that you do the gradual switch and your dog doesn't get on with it, if you do the gradual switch and if you do the switch complete over and your dog doesn't get on with it, then do the gradual switch. But ultimately, you're giving better nutrition when you feed a raw diet.
And I would also say about thinking about when you're choosing the time to switch. Like if you've got a big house move or you're stressed, you know, make sure that you're you know,
Totally.
to them in a
that you've got the time. I mean, I always say, you know, with a dog through its life, you need to invest time, whether it's the time to source the right food and to feed your dog, but to train your dog and to spend time with your dog.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you were going on a diet yourself, or you were going on a bit of a detox, you'd find the optimum time in your life as well to do it. And it's the same with your dog. You wouldn't go on a diet when it's very stressful at home, or you're, gosh, you were a smoker and you were giving up smoking at the same time, or you were, well, if you're getting married, I'm sure you would go on a diet, but you would choose the right time for doing it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So RAWgust,
Yay.
we've got lots of promotions going on.
Yay.
There's no better time than this month. I think it's the biggest discount we've ever given.
Yeah, we're giving 25% off our subscriptions throughout August. So if you currently feed Poppy's Picnic, we would love you to share this this discount as well with your friends and family, or people that you meet in the park. Also, if you are a feeder of Poppy's Picnic and you share it, you will get a bonus as well for that too. We'll give you a £10 thank you very much as well. And if you're new to this world of raw feeding, do it now, because get the starting through August, and your dog will be loving you and all of the things that you do throughout the coming months.
Yes, and winter's coming up, so you need to boost their immune system.
Yes.
And all the funny luggies that you can get from eating manky leaves, and you know, we don't want to think about autumn. Let's keep it in summer for now. But it's good to move into autumn with a strong, fit, healthy dog.
Yes, great.
So if you want to catch more of Dylan, hello to our northern followers, you've got an opportunity to go and see Dylan at Country File Live at Castle Howard. You are going to be speaking on the 15th of August, which is the Friday, I believe, and possibly the Sunday as well. So come along for the live demonstrations. And Anna, where can people find out more about you?
Well, every Thursday between 2:30 and 3:30, I join Joanne Good on Radio London and contribute to the weekly barking hour. So that's one way to tune in over the air. You can also reach me on www.annawebb.co.uk.
Fabulous. And Anna is very kindly going to be writing us an expert blog where we're going to recap on some of your questions. So if you're joining us late or watching this after we've gone offline, do just continue to post your questions, and we'll make sure that we pass them on and give you all a roundup.
Yep, and I'll be answering all your questions, so can't wait. So please don't be shy.
Why is it that dog snores are the... I can put up with dog snores forever, but if it's a partner lying next to me, I just can't hear it.
No, I don't want snoring dogs. I can't bear snoring people.
No. Anyway.
And on that note,
goodbye.
Bye for now.
Bye. 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 Bye.